Hi all. Today, we'll explore how instant noodles are made. That delicious product that turns into a filling meal in just a few minutes with hot water. We'll examine every step of the production process, from kneading the dough to drying and packaging the spices, and discover the technological intricacies that make this possible. First, it's worth mentioning that instant noodles are more than just a cheap snack. They're the result of complex food engineering aimed at solving a problem. The goal is creating a product that will last for years without refrigeration, takes up minimal space, and turns into a ready-to-eat meal in the time it takes to boil a kettle. Their invention in Japan in the mid-20th century revolutionized the food industry. Modern production is a highly automated conveyor belt, where raw materials undergo meticulously calibrated processes that alter their structure at the molecular level. In this analysis, we'll walk step by step along this conveyor belt to understand how ordinary dough is transformed into the noodles you pour boiling water over, and the technological secrets that ensure their instant cooking, long shelf life, and distinctive taste. Instant noodle production begins with the careful selection and dosing of raw materials, where each component performs not just one, but several interconnected technological functions. The base is premium wheat flour with specific technological characteristics, the most important of which is a high gluten protein content. This flour, obtained from durum wheat, forms a strong protein framework for the future noodles, capable of withstanding subsequent stages of intense mechanical action, high-temperature processing, and long-term storage without losing its structure. The second key component is water. Its quantity is strictly regulated, as moisture activates the flour proteins, allowing them to form an elastic gluten network. However, too much water will make the dough too sticky and difficult to dry, while too little will result in dryness and brittleness. Table salt is an essential additive. Besides imparting a basic flavor, salt strengthens the bonds in the gluten network, making the dough more elastic and stable, and also acts as a mild preservative, inhibiting the growth of microflora. However, the central element that determines the unique properties of instant noodles is the alkaline agent kansui. This is a solution of edible salts, most often potassium and sodium carbonates and phosphates. Its introduction into the recipe leads to a significant increase in the pH of the dough, creating an alkaline environment. This environment causes profound chemical changes. It promotes greater swelling of the starch, which subsequently facilitates rehydration, enhances the elasticity of the gluten, giving the noodles their characteristic elasticity and resistance to overcooking. It also initiates browning reactions, which, during subsequent cooking, impart the product's recognizable yellowish or creamy color and distinctive eggy aroma. The kneading process is carried out on high-speed industrial kneading machines. Its duration and intensity are calculated to ensure complete hydration of all flour particles and the formation of a homogeneous, smooth, plastic mass. Immediately after kneading, the dough is not further processed. It is placed in special resting or maturing chambers. During this period, lasting from 30 minutes to several hours at a stable temperature, complex physical and chemical processes occur within the dough. Water is completely and evenly distributed throughout the dough. The internal tension in the gluten network created by intensive kneading is relieved, and the dough acquires maximum plasticity and elasticity. This stage is critical to ensuring the quality of the next step, rolling the dough into a thin, continuous, and durable sheet without breaks or unevenness. Thus, already at the initial stage, thanks to the precise composition and controlled maturation of the dough, the foundation is laid for the creation of a product that, after deep dehydration, will be able to absorb hot water in a matter of seconds and restore its original structure and texture. After the resting stage, the dough is transferred to the molding conveyor, where a rigorous mechanical process transforms the homogeneous mass into a recognizable product with a unique physical architecture. This stage doesn't simply shape the dough. It creates the structural features that will subsequently allow the dry noodles to reconstitute almost instantly in hot water. The first step is multi-stage rolling. The dough is sequentially passed through a series of pairs of steel rollers with progressively smaller gaps. The initial stages compact and initially level the dough. With each subsequent pass, the dough becomes longer and thinner. The final thickness can be as little as 7/10 to 9/10 of a millimeter. This gradual rolling is critical. It evenly distributes the gluten network and avoids breaks and internal stresses that could lead to the noodles breaking during further processing. Lamination is often used during the rolling process. The dough is folded in half or thirds and passed through the rollers again. This creates internal lamination in the dough, reminiscent of miniature puff pastry. After cooking, this structure provides a pleasant, slightly flaky texture, rather than a homogeneous, floury mass. Next, the ultra-thin, continuous dough ribbon is fed to the cutting section. This section houses a unit with several dozen sharp, circular blades mounted on a rotating shaft. The blades precisely cut the ribbon into multiple parallel strips. The width of the strips, which determines the type of noodles, is adjusted by the distance between the blades. However, simply cutting into even strips is not the end goal. Immediately after passing through the blades, the strips pass through a special agitating device. Its operating principle is based on creating a controlled discrepancy in speed between the feed of the dough ribbon and the movement of the forming combs or belts. As a result, each noodle acquires a characteristic corrugated, wavy shape. This waviness is a key technological technique. It serves several functions. Firstly, it greatly increases the surface area of the noodles, which significantly accelerates subsequent water absorption. Secondly, it prevents the noodles from sticking together tightly during drying and storage, as the points of contact are minimal. Thirdly, it creates numerous microscopic air channels in the briquette, allowing steam and water to quickly penetrate. The noodles, formed and arranged in wavy rows, are then carefully, without disrupting their structure, transferred to perforated stainless steel conveyor belts, which deliver them to the oven for pre-steaming. Thus, the physical framework of the future dish is established at the shaping stage. The multi-layered structure provides an interesting texture, while the thinness, combined with the complex, wavy geometry, creates ideal conditions for almost instant rehydration, which is the essence of the concept of instant cooking. The formed noodles undergo thermal processing, which fundamentally alters their physical state, transforming the moist dough into a shelf-stable semi-finished product. This process is divided into two sequential and mandatory stages, each performing strictly defined technological functions. The first stage is steaming. Conveyor belts carrying the laid-out noodles move through a long tunnel chamber, where the product is exposed to saturated steam at a temperature close to 100 degrees Celsius. Within 1 to 2 minutes, the steam and high temperature cause irreversible changes in the dough. Starch granules contained in the flour absorb moisture, swell, and lose their crystalline structure, turning into a viscous gel, a process called gelatinization. Simultaneously, gluten proteins partially denature and coagulate, fixing the noodle's shape and strengthening their wavy structure. Steaming also partially evaporates moisture from the surface of the noodles, preventing them from sticking together in the next step. Upon exiting the steam chamber, the noodles are already cooked, but extremely moist and highly perishable. The second stage, critical to giving instant noodles their instant properties, is deep dehydration. Deep frying remains the primary industrial method used for most instant noodles. Ribbons of steamed noodles pass through a bath of hot vegetable oil, most often palm oil due to its stability and low cost, where the temperature is maintained between 140 and 160 degrees Celsius. The immersion time is strictly controlled and lasts no more than 1 to 2 minutes. During this short period, the internal moisture explosively evaporates. The water, turning into steam, rapidly escapes from the product, creating a multitude of microscopic pores, channels, and cavities within it. A porous, spongy internal structure is formed, resembling a miniature labyrinth. It is this capillary network that subsequently allows hot water to almost instantly penetrate the very core of the dry noodle, ensuring rehydration within 3 to 4 minutes. At the same time, the hot oil creates a thin but dense crust on the surface of the noodles, which further secures their shape and prevents them from breaking during transportation. After exiting the fryer, the noodles pass through an intensive blast of cold air, where excess oil is removed from their surface. The result is a dry, light, crispy product. with a residual moisture content of only 3 to 6%, ensuring a shelf life of up to 2 years without losing its nutritional value. An alternative, less common method is air drying or hot air dehydration. In this method, steamed noodles are exposed to a stream of hot air for a prolonged period in special drying tunnels. This process takes significantly longer than deep frying and does not produce the same developed and uniform porous structure. Hot air-dried noodles often require longer reconstitution in boiling water, typically 4 to 5 minutes, and may have a slightly different, sometimes more brittle texture. The main advantage of this method is the absence of added fat, which is marketed as a healthier option, although the cooking speed and some organoleptic properties of these noodles may be inferior to fried noodles. After the drying and cooling stage, the noodles are processed into a ready-to-eat and packaged product. This process involves shaping the portion and simultaneously creating a complex of flavor components that, together with the noodles, create the finished dish. The briquette is formed on automated lines. A predetermined amount of dry noodles, precisely measured by weight, is fed into a forming machine. This can be a rotating drum with cells or a system of guides with a pressing die. Under the influence of gravity and light mechanical pressure, the wavy noodle mass is compacted, taking the shape of a compact round or rectangular briquette. It is critical that the pressure not be excessive, as this does not destroy the fragile porous structure created during the deep frying process, as it is this structure that is responsible for the rapid absorption of water. Parallel to the formation process, large-scale production of flavorings and aromatics occurs, forming the basis of the broth and lending the dish its character. This process is divided into several independent process streams. One stream prepares dry vegetable and protein components. Fresh vegetables such as carrots, onions, corn, green peas, spinach, as well as pieces of cooked meat, tofu, or seafood, undergo deep dehydration. The most advanced method is freeze drying, in which frozen products are placed in a vacuum chamber where the ice evaporates, bypassing the liquid phase. This method preserves up to 80% of the original volume, natural color, shape, and most vitamins. A more economical method is conventional hot air drying, after which the components significantly shrink in size, become solid, and can be stored virtually indefinitely. These dry ingredients are then dosed in precise proportions. The second and most important process is the preparation of the broth base. Industrial reactors are used to create a concentrated broth using bones, meat, chicken, mushrooms, or seaweed. This broth is infused with a complex of ingredients that create a distinctive flavor. Table salt, monosodium glutamate, MSG, to enhance flavor, sugar or syrups, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, yeast extract, and a mixture of ground spices and dried herbs. The resulting liquid concentrate is then spray-dried to a powder, turning it into the free-flowing mixture found in the main seasoning packet. For premium products, liquid or paste-like sauces are prepared separately, for example, based on sesame oil, soy sauce, chili paste, or miso. These are packaged in small, airtight sachets made of foil or multi-layer plastic to preserve flavor and aroma. All these disparate components, a noodle block, a dried vegetable mix, a packet of bouillon powder, and perhaps a sachet of oil, are dosed simultaneously and sent to the final packaging line, where they will be combined into a single consumer unit, ready to be transformed into hot soup in a few minutes. The final stage of production involves the high-precision, simultaneous assembly of all components into a single consumer unit and their reliable isolation from the external environment. This process ensures not only ease of use, but also a key consumer feature: a long shelf life without refrigeration. All manufactured components arrive simultaneously on a dedicated assembly line. Compacted blocks of dry noodles, individual sachets of broth, concentrate in powder or granule form, sachets of freeze-dried or dried vegetable mixes and protein supplements, and, for premium products, individual sealed sachets of liquid oils, pastes, or sauces. Automated dispensers and robotic grippers rid the positions and place each element at high speed into its designated location within the future package. The primary packaging is most often a bowl made of expanded polystyrene or heat-resistant polypropylene. This choice is based on several factors. The material is lightweight, has excellent thermal insulation properties, allowing the container with hot contents to be held in the hand, and is rigid enough to withstand transportation and storage. For economical formats, a bag made of multi-layer composite film is used, typically consisting of layers of polypropylene, metallized film, and sometimes foil, which creates a barrier to light, oxygen, and moisture. Once all the ingredients are placed inside, the packaging moves to the sealing section. For bowls, this is an automated line that applies a membrane made of multi-layer laminate film or aluminum foil. Under heat and pressure, this membrane is permanently sealed to the rim of the bowl, creating a completely airtight seal. For bags, a vacuum or modified atmosphere packaging machine is used. Air containing oxygen, which causes fat oxidation and flavor loss, is evacuated from the bag and often replaced with inert nitrogen. The bag is then sealed. This airtight seal is a critical technological element. It prevents three main threats. The first is the penetration of atmospheric moisture, which could make the noodles and seasonings soggy and lead to mold growth. The second is the access of oxygen, which triggers oxidation and rancidity of oils in noodles and sauces. The third is the evaporation of volatile aromatic compounds from the broth mixture. Thanks to this seal, the product retains its flavor and physical properties for many months and sometimes years. The finished sealed packages then pass through an automatic visual and weighing inspection system, where units with seam defects, incorrect packaging, or abnormal weight are rejected. They are then marked with the production date and expiration date, grouped into cardboard boxes or shrink-wrapped, and palletized for shipment to distribution warehouses. Thus, the packaging stage is the logical conclusion of the entire process chain. It preserves the results of the previous stages: the porous structure of the noodles, the flavor concentrate in the seasonings, and the fragile dry ingredients, transforming them into a durable, compact, transportable, and extremely convenient product that requires only one external resource for its final preparation: boiling water. Instant noodle production isn't just cooking. It's complex food engineering aimed at solving a specific problem, creating a filling, shelf-stable product that cooks in the time it takes to boil a kettle. The entire process, from kneading the dough to sealing the packaging, is dedicated to this goal. The key technological secret is the transformation of the noodle structure: sequential rolling, steaming, and, most importantly, instant deep frying create a microscopic capillary network within the product. It is this porous, spongy architecture that allows boiling water to penetrate the very core of the dry noodle in seconds, completely restoring its texture. Air drying, while reducing fat content, does not provide such a fast and uniform result. It's important to understand that the main component of the dish is dry noodles, whose nutritional value comes primarily from fast-acting carbohydrates and fats from frying. The complex flavor is created separately, with concentrated broth powders, dried additives, and, in premium versions, liquid sauces in individual sachets. Hermetically sealed packaging in a modified atmosphere locks in this flavor and ensures a shelf life of several months. Thus, instant noodles are a shining example of technological optimization for the modern world. Their place in the diet should be determined by this fact. They are a convenient, quick, and filling solution for situations when there is no time or opportunity to prepare other food. But they are not the basis of a daily diet. As with any processed product, the key is moderation and an understanding of what we are eating. Not homemade noodles, but the result of precise calculations and high-tech production.